Hi, I'm Jennifer,
And I'm Dennis.
and welcome to Salve Salento. Today, we'd like to share with you how we relocated to Italy. We moved here with 6 suitcases, 2 bicycles, and our dog Elsa, and that's it. We didn't have any of our other personal items shipped, like our furniture or anything that was very, very large due to the cost of shipping those items here. So we just packed up our suitcases with our most valuable personal belongings and brought them over with us
So we're going to talk a little bit of some of the steps we did to come over here.
to get here. So a few months ahead, we made our appointments for our visas that we needed. And they're, depending on your consulate, is how long you'll have to wait for those
They
appointments.
might be far behind, so you got to look. And you can check every day to see if they have cancellations.
Yeah, they open up appointments usually, I think it was 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon. They would open up new appointments. So you can actually, if you wanted to buy your airline tickets, if you're able to change them or cancel them in the event that you didn't get the visa and that you weren't able to, come over permanently, or you can get so that you can get a refund, or you can wait until your visa comes in to buy the tickets. It will be more expensive, but then by not having the fees of changing or just not knowing, it might be easier for you to just buy the airline tickets when you definitely know.
And the visa process is kind of straightforward. You just go on a website. They have like a checklist of the stuff that you need. You can put it in a little binder, and then when you go there, you have your appointment. You just hand it to them, and you give them your passports, and you usually get an answer. We got our answer within 2 weeks.
Was it 2
Yeah, it
weeks?
was about 2 weeks
That
we got
was
our answer.
that was
2 to 3
Miami.
weeks.
That was the Miami consulate, and do not go by our timeline because at the time it was December. When we went, it was New Year's Eve, so they weren't very busy at the consulate. I don't know what their schedule is now, so don't go by our timeline. But they usually try to get back to you within 30 days. That's what they said.
Yes.
So we brought our dog,
Dog.
and we had to find an airline that was really, really pet friendly. And Lufthansa was really great because they really do with their pets is they specialize in pets. They have a pet lounge at their what was the where were we?
Frankfurt.
In Frankfurt. They have a pet lounge. Sorry, and they take care of the pets. That's a main hub. So the pet, when our dog got there, they took care of her, and then they transferred her to the next plane.
Yeah, and because she was going in cargo in the plane, underneath they have like a special space for the pets. A lot of the U.S. carriers are not doing pets.
Pets
So
in the hold.
you have to look for like a hub of a major city that's going over to Europe. So we lived in Tampa, so we actually had to rent a car in Tampa, drive to Miami, and then get on the plane at Miami, and then Miami to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to Rome. We couldn't even come into Brindisi, which is the airport here, because it's another local carrier that's an American carrier that comes over here, and they won't fly the pet. So when we got off in Rome, we rented another car and drove again until we got here. So it was kind of a little complicated trip.
Six
to
and
get
a half
around here.
hours. But when we drove to Miami, we had 2 checked suitcases, 2 carry-ons, 2 bicycles, and the dog in the carrier. So we were full. We almost, I don't even know how we made it to the plane. We almost didn't make it. By the time we got to the counter with the luggage, we were exhausted. So
And then we rented a minivan, so that was good. But then when we came over here, we rented a European minivan, which is not the same size as an American minivan. So we had to ditch the dog crate at the airport in Rome, and she was just roaming around the minivan.
Yeah, we had a lot of trouble fitting all of the same
that's-
things that we fit in the American minivan into the European minivan because they are definitely not the same size. So with the pet, we had to bring her to a veterinarian that is USDA certified for giving a pet certification for international travel. And you can find that on USDA's website. So you'll find a vet that's local to you that's able to do all of that paperwork for you. And it cost us a few $100s. And they took care of everything, and they filed it all electronically. And then they sent us a copy. And that you have to do within a few days of leaving. So you can't do that ahead of time. You have to really make an appointment and have all of your arrangements for right when you're ready to leave within, I think it was within 2 or 3 days
Yes.
that you had to do that. And because they need to have, it has to be certified within those days, right? So what do? We started to stock up on our regular vitamins, our regular medications that we took, and have that so that we didn't, we weren't without it, because we didn't know what the situation would be when we arrived, how we would get those things, or if we would be able to see a doctor when we got here. So
plus we got health examinations in the States before we came over, because we didn't know when we were going to see a doctor here, so we had our yearly visit.
Or like me, I went to the regular doctor and gynecologist and make sure I had all of that squared away before we left, just because we didn't know when the next time we would be able to see a doctor. So we started to pack our clothes, right?
Yeah.
Start packing things and going through everything. So we just cleaned everything out, the closets, the drawers, everything that we haven't seen for decades. We went through all of it, and we realized that if something we haven't looked at in 10 years, we don't really need it. So we donated a lot of our items, and we just cleaned up and said, we'll buy new clothes when we arrive, because we really wanted to buy things that would be what local people were wearing anyway, mostly.
And then what we did was we packed 4 suitcases and sent them FedEx luggage, I believe it was.
Yeah, there's luggage shipping services that are available online, and you can price them out. And you actually take checked luggages that you have already, and you fill them, and then they go by weight and size. So say you had a regular checked luggage, but it was really heavy, you have it filled, you can actually just pay the fee that makes it oversized. It's a little heavier, but it's a lot less expensive than sending boxes over, because it's luggage and it's easier for them to move it. And then it's great because when you get here and then your luggage arrives, then you have all of those extra suitcases that...
Just make sure you're mailing them to yourself over here and you're not sending them to a business. Otherwise, they're going to charge you an import tax coming in.
We learned that the hard way. So when I did my list, thank goodness I valued everything as its actual value and not what its replacement value would be, because they tell you that on the list. They say put your items as they would be as their real value. So what's your t-shirt worth, or what's a pair of shorts worth? It's not really worth anything. Okay. So I just put its real value. I think I put $1 for everything because you wouldn't even be able to sell it. You would have to actually donate it. So when we arrived, I was actually having it sent to care of Salento with Love, because we didn't have an address. We didn't know where we would be able to receive the luggage, and we didn't know when it would arrive. So we had it sent to the business, but FedEx thought that we were sending our items, they were being shipped to a business, and then they charged us duty on it, which wasn't that much. It was only a few $100s. I
thought we were going to resell used clothes and stuff.
Yeah, it was all personal items and things like that.
It was only like $100 or $200.
A few $100s, yeah. But to get my things back, it was worth it, and it was lesson learned. Do not send it to a business. Send it addressed to yourself at the address that you'll be renting, and have them ship the luggage directly to you. And you can communicate with FedEx online about having that delivery arranged, because they deliver here. All the major carriers deliver here. We have BRT, UPS delivers here, FedEx delivers here, DHL delivers here. So it's very similar to the United States. We don't have a problem with shipping items.
But getting back to the visa, some of the things that you need is either you have to own a place here, or you have to have a 12-month rental contract.
So we got the rental contract through Salento with Love. They helped us with that, and we just did our deposit, got the paperwork, they registered the contract, and that we definitely needed to go get the visas. You need to have some place to live, and you need to keep your United States residence for that. So don't say, I'm moving permanently and that you have no United States address. When you go to get that visa, you really need to make sure that you have a permanent address in the jurisdiction of that consulate.
Yeah, so if you are selling your house or something, coming over here permanently, just use a relative in the area. Use there as an address.
As your new permanent address, and then change all of your documents over, like your driver's license and your bank accounts and things like that.
Another thing you have to show is proof of health insurance. So you have to go on the site and try to get international health insurance, which is a lot cheaper than United States health insurance. And what we did was Cigna Global, but there's a bunch of places like Bupa, Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it seemed like Cigna was...
Cigna Global was the most reasonable, and Italy especially is extremely reasonable for health insurance.
Yeah, you don't need high limits here.
You don't need to have really, really high limits here because healthcare is not expensive here. And there's actually, if you say that you're living in Italy, when you sign up on the website for Signa Global, they'll actually have a plan that's a lot lower and a lot less expensive that says, this is just in case you have a very, expensive emergency, because to go to the doctor here, it's not very, very expensive. It's the visits.
The policy that we got in the beginning covered us for 6 months in the United States and 6 months over here, and
in case you plan on going back and staying there, there for 6 months.
But once we got here, we dropped the United States part of it off and just had here full time, and it got cut in half. The insurance got cut in half. The insurance
was very reasonable. If you're only going, and it covers you in all other countries also, and not just Italy. So if you plan on coming here, making this your home base, and then traveling from here, you'll be covered in all of the countries that are surrounding.
If you go back to the United States, you could just get a travel policy for the time that you're there. It'd be cheaper doing that than paying
monthly extra
for it.
So also, what did we do? We changed the bank. We changed our bank over.
Yeah, we made sure we had a bank that deals more globally, so it made it easier. So when we go to the ATM here, we don't have no fees, no conversion fees. It's just real time, whatever the euro to dollar is at the time. That's the rate that we take it out of the machine with.
And the international credit card.
And we made sure we had 2 international credit cards that don't charge fees for when we charge over here. And it's the same exchange rate at the time, so whatever the euro to dollar is at the time, that's what we get charged at that time. It's real time.
Yeah, so you don't pay extra.
No
right
fees.
Now, the euro to the dollar is weak. So the U.S. dollar here is very strong, and it's actually been going down. So it costs you less. So for every dollar right now, what is it, about 96 cents?
Yeah, it's hovering between 96 and 98 cents right now.
So it's really beneficial to do something now at this time, because the euro is going so low, to be able to get more value for your dollar here. Yeah. Because things are not expensive here, and now it's even less expensive, which we know for a fact that in the United States, all of our family and friends, it's really getting expensive for them to go food shopping and insurance and all these other costs that are associated with that. So it's nice to know that when you come here, your dollar, really does go further. So what else do we do? So that was just packing our bags, cleaning out, and it was really good for us to do that because we found a lot of things that we didn't need, and we're traveling more lightly now. So if we do want to go from place to place, after we're building our house up right now, we're renovating the home. But if we want to go from, to other places, once we're all finished, we have a nice home base. We don't have a lot of stuff that we have to lug with us.
The whole goal was to be mobile.
As mobile
to pick up and, go wherever you want.
As mobile as we could be.
Not accumulating a whole bunch of stuff anymore.
Well, most of the stuff that we didn't use, we didn't really need it. And the last thing was preparing the visa paperwork, right? That last packet, getting all the documents together. We did not hire someone to do that for us. We did that on our own. It was a little bit of work, but it was easier for me to prepare it than for me to give, the information to someone else and have them prepare it.
It's kind of straightforward. You just go on the website and it gives you like a checklist of what you need, item by item.
Yeah, there's 2 pages.
There's nothing complicated about for a visa.
And it's good to do that as soon as you make your visa appointment. Look over that list and see what you need to start getting, because the letters to the banks that you need, to request how long you've been a customer and things like that, letters from your accountant and all that paperwork is good to try to get ahead of time so that you're not waiting and scrambling at the last minute, because we were scrambling a little bit at the last minute. I said, I waited until now to prepare this. I didn't realize that they wanted, a year's worth of paperwork for every account, and all these letters from people that weren't answering us because it was the holiday season. So if you can get that paperwork ahead of time and prepare, and then it'll be smooth sailing. You just get your plane tickets and you'll get your visa back in the mail. They'll send you an envelope, and then
And a visa is good for a year, and then I think you can reapply here. And I
You
think
can
they
renew
do
it
it
here.
in 5 or 10-year increments or something. I think they do it in. I'm not quite sure because we don't have to reapply because I got citizenship, so the
Right.
visa kind of goes out the door.
But if you need to renew your visa, you can do it right here in the commune
Yeah.
of whatever town that you live in, and they will handle that renewal for you because you'll actually be a resident by then. So once you're a resident, that's something that you would just go back and reapply through it. They would just check your paperwork that they need to check again, updated version of it, and then that would be it. But you wouldn't need any of the other items. I don't believe. I mean, I don't know about the renewal. If you'd need a contract again for another 12 months, I'm sure you would if you didn't purchase a property by then.
Once you get the residency after, because somebody has to check on you, so they got to come within 45 days to make sure you're actually living in that place. Then you can get your residency card, and then you're a resident, and then you can apply for the national healthcare system here.
So the health insurance you can get, which is the national system, but it won't work outside of Italy. So if you plan on doing a lot of traveling, it might be worth it to get your own individual policy because that policy won't carry on anywhere else. It only would cover you if you were inside Italy and something did happen. And
Actually, I think it's inside the EU. You still covered.
I don't know.
I don't know. We have to
That
check
would be
into
something to check out.
into.
I know that if you go to another country and something happens, you're not going to go broke if you get sick or something happens to you in anywhere else in Europe because it's not like the United States. They kind of have a reciprocal policy where they take care of you, other countries' residents, and you take care of theirs. So it isn't the same as in the U.S. where you'd be bankrupt if you had to go to the emergency room. So you don't want, you're traveling back to the United States, do not go back without coverage, some kind of health coverage, just in case to be sure.
You'll be paying for it for the rest of your life.
Yes, you will. So we hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please click on the like.
And subscribe to the channel.
And we'll have more coming to you soon. Take care.
Ciao.
Ciao.